Jordy, we'll start with you. The music scene in Hong Kong, where do you think it's at right now?
It's at a very exciting moment. There are things going on now that were not happening before. And there's this new wave of artists that want to express themselves. And you see that in the streets now, which is something that wasn't happening before. And there are more options, for artists to express themselves. They're making bands, and it's really cool. There are like a lot of places out there where artists are doing their thing, and there's a lot of underground movement as well that is going on. So besides the mainstream thing that is going on, there's this other underground parallel thing which is also going on, and it's very exciting.
CeeLo, do you agree?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are two ways of saying it, because live music-wise is what Jordy's saying about. Is there's a lot going on, a lot of new young people with new ideas, more open to a lot of new ideas, which is a lot. Well, it's just the difference in Hong Kong right now. In the mainstream, Jennifer has something to say. No. Well, there's always something else going on. I mean, there are new people, and for us as producers and performers, I think what we want is, to whatever's happening now, add something to Hong Kong to make a difference. We are part of a scene in Hong Kong. We always been blessed, either with our Latin music or performing with some pop stars. So I think music, earning wise is good for us, and also musically, I think things are like, I can say, developing in a better way.
Taking off?
Taking off. That's a good way.
Okay. And Jennifer, you're not really underground. You're quite overground. and
The overground lady.
And mainstream.
I'm in the middle ground.
And mainstream. So, for you, what's the scene like? Do you think it's moving? Your scene.
my
I think
world.
your scene is different to their scene because
Yeah.
they are making music as producers, engineers. It's two different things.
Yeah.
You're a performer. So as a performer, is the scene progressing?
In some ways it is. In some, it's like, I should say, some scene is dying, but some scene are also spurting out.
What scene's spreading out?
Well, spurting out, like
I know,
coming
but-
up. Say, okay, like the young Chinese generation now are more interested in music, which I don't think has ever happened before. So now you see a lot of local Chinese guys who are more interested in music. I guess back then people weren't really encouraging them to do that, but now they're really interested. So I think that's a really good thing, because now that the younger generation is more interested in music, and that's good for everyone. So Hong Kong, I think, is gonna be better music-wise. In my own world, where I'm working at, yeah, there's still people who are trying to do new stuff, like in our scene, but there are also new people who we have never heard before or we've never seen before come up with new bands, with new stuff. So yeah, it's just like what both of them are saying, something is really
But
coming
what
up.
is your scene?
My scene is more on like jazzy scene. I do more work with contemporary jazz and yeah, sometimes pop.
So are there new artists coming into that scene
Yeah, a lot of local Chinese are
Yeah,
coming up.
to be jazz singers?
Yes.
But do you think the local music fans really know what jazz is?
The good thing about it also is because now, since they're locals, they're making it more mainstream, because now, of course, it's difficult when you're not speaking the language, being from a foreign place. But being a local and introducing this kind of music to the local scene and speaking the language, now more young generation are like the friends or their schoolmates or their family are getting exposed to this kind of music, and so That's good. They're educating the public about
Okay.
it.
I think that's all good, right? But let me ask you, Jordy, you know, I know a lot of musicians who are really interested in music, but is the musicianship improving? You can be extremely enthusiastic about music, right? But musically, is it technology driven or musicianship driven?
There was a point where it could have easily been driven to the side of the technology part because it's so easy now. Like everybody can have a recording set up now. But talent is coming back, and there are many ways in which you can showcase your talent. And musicians here, young musicians, they're doing that. The taste is changing. It's, you know, we do appreciate and we like and we learned a lot from whatever it was. But we learn from that so we can make something new and better. So, and at the end of the day, you need other musicians to collaborate with. Like, for example, the way we work is that besides whatever arrangement we do, we let artists express themselves. Because even though if I make an arrangement and I get somebody to come and record, if he's a drummer, I'm not gonna be better than him. So I let him show me, right? So they find this same thing out because when they're doing their music, they need to collaborate. Music is a conversation, and you obviously need other people for that. And that's when the musicianship comes in.
Okay, this is the $64,000 question, and it may not even be worth $64,000, but you said it's a way for, it's having a conversation, right, with your music. So does this conversation actually make money?
That's a great question. For us, it did, because there was no plan B, right? And it's a very scary point to be. When this is said, you're in the middle of the ocean, you just have to swim, right? So we put ourselves in that situation where we had to, and it happened. And eventually it will, because people are appreciating music here more than before.
Yeah.
So
I understand. Tell me, guys, you guys, all of you say,
Yeah.
you're not answering my question. How do you make
He found
money?
out. He found out.
How do you make money in the music industry today when there's streaming, when there's downloads, when you don't have a record deal or you have a record deal? Other than live appearances, where do you make money with your recordings? You guys own a studio. Jennifer doesn't. Jennifer comes, she does sessions, she makes records. So as an artist, where do you make money?
Gigging.
And as owning, forget live concerts, owning a studio, where do you guys make money?
Okay. Owning a studio is a very tricky one, to be honest. For you guys, for you young kids, don't plan on making a studio to get millionaire. It's not gonna happen. But if you love arts the way we do, and on top of that, you work hard to bring good music and help others, you will make your way to make money. Again, you will not be millionaire. We have our own things going on. We have some other things. The recording studio that we own right now is not only for music. So that's the way we can really survive. Jordy and myself, we made a company a few years ago, which is also for other business. Like we do sounds for kids' computers, for toys, all those kind of things. Jordy is in charge of all these, finding talents and recording for international companies. It's one of the biggest income in the studio. Music-wise, it's because we love it and we do it with the heart. But we have some other things going on the side. I'm a touring artist as well, so
yeah, but the thing is, like, now you have a little bit more options than before, because if you had a band and you really wanted to make it, you really needed a record label behind you. Now you at least have options, right? And there are artists that 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 they decide to do it online, with online digital distribution, and it's great. Where you really have to take it serious is in the part that it is a business, and if you decide that you're gonna go the artist's way, you really have to treat it as a business. How you create your product, which is your music, and then how you're gonna market this product and how you're gonna sell it. So whichever way you decide to go, whether you have the backing of a record label or you decide to do it on your own digitally or even physically, but you decide to go the organic way, then you just take it serious and take it as a business.
But how do you run a business if you got no money?
I think it's a lot easier now because, as you said, before to make a record, it was so difficult and expensive. Now, I mean, come to our studios, we will help you. Nowadays, you can make a record with friendship, let's say. And as Jordy said, if you're a business-oriented person, which that's what musicians are not most of the time, I mean, think about it. If you do gigs around and you go and play 3 sets and you make some money and get drunk at the end of the night and spend the money back, you're not making the money, to be honest. But if you go and you have a CD that you made, as Jordy always said, this is your name card. That's what takes you to more gigs. That's you can sell that and you make some extra cash. You're not gonna be a millionaire, but if you think in the business side of point, when you're performing and you see what's going on, that person can be an investor for this. You think about it, you can make some money.
Well, all you guys have been around for a while, right?
Can we cut now?
You guys have been around for a while. So let me ask you a question.
Jennifer.
I'm a new artist, Jennifer, or any of you. I'm a new artist.
Okay.
I come to your studio.
Yeah.
I pay for the recording charges, everything, right?
Sure.
You guys make money out of me as a musician. I make a record.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with it? Now, you've made records.
I've made records.
All of you guys have made records. Has anything come out of it?
To be honest, on my opinion, you sell records for the people to like you so you can perform those songs.
Exactly, that's the model that it came to be
That
now.
is honestly what's happening. Recordings, that thing, is a name card for you to show people what you can do.
So it's a bit like Rihanna making a record. Rihanna makes a record, it's to promote her tour.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're talking Rihanna. That's that high.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
If you're an unknown artist, you make a record, right? And you got dreams that this record is going to be played in Nashville and you're going to be a #1 hit in America or Canada or whatever, right? But that never happens, right?
Wow.
So how far does that go in Hong Kong? Is it a gig in Shenzhen, or if you're lucky, Jakarta, Singapore?
Well, it
What
could
is
be. I mean, you just find your niche, because not the whole music industry is what we see at the top. There's a lot of little currents going down under, not exactly what is going on at the top. But let's say I make a record and I have the opportunity of performing in front of 10 people. If out of those 10 people, at least 2 like what I did, then I'm sure that those 2 are going to be there on my next show, right? So now if in the next show I do a show for 20 people and then at least 4 are there, plus the other 2, then that's how you start creating your fan base. And then that's a really important thing that needs to happen when you're thinking in that business mentality, right? How are you going to be in touch with these people directly? Because we don't have the muscle that record labels have. So if we're going to go the organic way, then that's how you do it.
But remember, with the technology like YouTube, where everything's got to be quick, and it's the DIY world, and you need to produce quickly, and you never know what's going to be a hit, right?
Yeah.
So how do you look at the so-called YouTube generation, right? Do you know what will be a hit record anymore? In the old days, you did. You make a record, you know it's a hit. You just know if you're a good A&R guy,
Yeah.
you know it's a hit. But with so much music around, free music, so much free music, how do you make your music stand out from all the rest?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Jennifer,
Jennifer?
Um,
What does Jennifer think?
well, what does Jennifer think? Jennifer thinks that. No, in my case, when I decide to write a song or do a record or whatever, I don't really think about it, oh, this is gonna sell well. I don't think of it that way. It's because I wanna do this record because I made this, I want this to be down there as whatever you think of it. If you love it, great. If you don't, that's my art. I want to put this art into something and keep it there and not just floating around
Yeah.
in my brains or something. You're creating, it's like when you're painting, you want to put it on the canvas. It's the same way as music, you want to record it because you want to have it, you can listen to it whenever you want to, and it's your creation. It's like, this is what I created, and this is something that I could, leave to people who might want to listen to it. It could be a gift. It could be a gift to yourself and say, this is what I made.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
have something
because-
to show for it.
are we still going around?
But
Yeah.
that's because
Yeah.
you're an established artist.
Well, yeah, well, no, I don't consider myself as an established artist, but I consider myself an artist, period. Established, not established, it's really up to the people to, what is
judge.
established or non-established? That's all just whatever. As an artist, if you know that you can create something, that's all that matters to you.
And it goes back to that
and then
place.
It goes back to, if you make money out of this, because you have, first and foremost, the bottom line is you have to love what you do, and
Yeah.
everything else follows. Otherwise, if you don't like what you're doing, whatever it is, whether you're the leader of whatever organization and you make lots of money, and if you hate that, it's not going to make you happy. As artists, I think we need to be able to express ourselves and make ourselves happy first, and then other things will follow, and then you'll be happy.
If you get one person out of that group that understood what you wanted to say with your music, then that's great.
Exactly.
And then that's little by
that
little,
makes me
that's how it
successful
grows.
if somebody likes my stuff, that makes me so happy. That
we
makes
like
me
your stuff.
successful.
We like your
Thank
stuff.
you. Oh, I'm so successful.
Here's our business card.
I like your jacket. But the thing is, how, okay, final question. Start with CeeLo.
Okay.
So, if you have to help the Hong Kong industry move forward, what would you do?
Well, we're actually doing it. What we're doing is encouraging the people to bring whatever idea you have. Let's not go square of what has been happening the last 20 or 30 years, which I'm not saying is bad or good or what. I'm just saying bring whatever idea. It doesn't have to be like that. What Jordy and I are doing in our studio, come to our studio. What we're saying is that bring whatever idea you have. What Jordy said, we've seen like a lot of new kids busking on the street, and they have a lot of new ideas, a lot of talent. Come and bring what you have, and we're gonna do something with that. We're not gonna say, oh, sorry, it doesn't go with this square or with this formula. No formulas. Whatever happens, happens. It's what Jennifer said. For art first, and then the rest will come.
So, Jennifer, how are you helping?
How am I
The Hong
helping
Kong
the
industry.
Hong Kong industry? Okay. Well, I'm trying to experiment with new stuff and collaborate with other people, and I also teach. So I think that's a way of helping.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you're collaborating with other people and then sometimes say, okay, I'm a jazzer. I'm not talking about myself, by the way. I'm not a jazzer. But if somebody says, I'm a jazz musician, I don't want to be in this. This is what I do. But sometimes when with a little coaching, no, let's try this. In the end, they kind of like, oh yeah, that's
That's actually cool.
yeah. So that thing creates something new, which makes the music industry grow. So it's like just tiny stuff that makes everything bigger and bigger. It's very infectious if you try it, like try it with different genres
Yeah.
of music.
Yeah.
And,
Totally.
yeah.
Jordy, do you think there are drawbacks? Do you think there are prejudices in the Hong Kong music industry?
But I don't think it's a conscious one. It's just something of the taste of the art that they have been exposed to since forever. You know, like change is started to happen probably a few years ago, and it's gonna take some time. It's little by little,
Yeah.
but people are developing a taste for it. So it's not a prejudice in consciously. It's something that they just probably preferred a different taste until you start mixing the veggies in, and then they start liking it. They're like, okay, I like this. So you know, it's little by little, but it is happening, and not only what we can do to help them, but we learn a lot from them as well. You know, artists that probably don't know that they have that talent, they come to us and they come with a crazy idea that we haven't thought of. We learn from them as well. So it's a two-way thing.
Yeah. Sometimes we have artists saying like, I have this idea, but so it's ridiculous. It's crazy. And we take that and it's like, dude, this is actually what we need. You know, this is what music needs. So bring it on. You know, I mean, for example, I've been doing touring a lot in Hong Kong with different artists, and I never did pop before, but the flavors that we have, bringing that to that scene,
Yeah.
it's changing a lot. Bringing that tropical flavor for arrangements, for new voicings, for new styles, for the hottest stuff. They're open-minded to that now. But if we don't start because we think it's a lost cause, it's never happening. So I feel that it's changing, and we are helping doing that. Just bringing our own flavor and accepting, you know, new ideas too. Yeah.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
pleasure.
you.